for decontamination.
Sandra, how will the federal government find out these hospitals? How will they know hospitals that are taking care of COVID-19 patients? We know that doctors do not reveal the status of their patients. And how do you know? I mean, how do they know? How will the federal government know in a country like Nigeria where we do not keep data?
It's going to be difficult. I think it will be difficult for federal government to know these hospitals. It's going to be very, very difficult. And then I'll say it's very bad that some persons are trying to make something out of this situation. But I think it's going to be very difficult. I mean, how would they know? We have several hospitals, and I'm sure that some of them are not even licensed to even treat ordinary malaria, not to talk of treating coronavirus, even though we know that coronavirus is not new. Some of us were taught coronavirus in our biology, and then we don't have any data. How do we know how many doctors do we have in Nigeria? How many of them are licensed? How many of them are doing what they're supposed? How many of them are really? It's going to be very difficult for federal government. It's going to be very difficult, especially with this issue of stigmatization. People who want to hide themselves, they want to stay away, they want to stay out from the normal number or countdown or whatever NCDC does. So I think it's going to be very difficult.
It is going to be a very, very big challenge because now the essence of why the federal government is saying this is because some people have this virus, and rather than call the NCDC hotline, they go to their private doctors. Now, their private doctors take it upon themselves to treat them, using their personnel, their nurses, their cleaners, and every other personnel in their hospitals. In the long run, many more people are infected. For instance, this story we took it on Thursday. Today, we hear the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana's son, has asked that the federal government investigate the death of the chief of staff, late Haba Kyari, because reports that we have heard is that he died in a private hospital. Chinedu, how will the federal government investigate this kind of issue?
Who is the federal government? Haba Kyari was the chief of staff, God rest his soul. He was the chief of staff to the president. That's the chief of staff to the president. So who is the federal government going to investigate? He said it initially that he doesn't want to bother the health system in the country. So
when
he
was first tested positive.
Yes. He'll be undertaking his own treatment in a private hospital. As at then, the rule hasn't been made. So to be fair to them too, the federal government or the Federal Ministry of Health hasn't come out to say we do not authorize private facilities to treat COVID-19 because, we're still trying to understand. We're still grappling to, take control of the whole COVID-19 issue. So nobody was interested in, at least as at then, who treats what, even though we know that the federal government was undertaking the treatment and everything. So the chief of staff, the then chief of staff, came out to say, I'm going to undertake my own treatment by myself in a private facility. Nobody complained and nobody argued. In fact, what we were saying that time is that, he's been flown out of the country. Remember, there was this rumor that, he's been flown out of the country. But of course, as it is, he wasn't flown out. He was in a private clinic. And there was no issue whatsoever from the federal government. So I don't think it's dead on arrival to say investigate why he was treated in a private facility, because as at then, it was just last Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yes, on Thursday or Wednesday that the minister said any private clinic found to be treating such would be dealt with. 2 weeks ago, there was no such pronouncement.
But Uche, will you be surprised to find out that a lot of big men who supposedly have this virus are in their private hospitals? How will you feel as a journalist when you hear this?
Well, I will not be surprised to hear that, because for the fact that some persons, it's like what the governor of Rivers State just said. He said after exempting yourself from declaring you are negative in coronavirus, bring your HIV status, people are scared. They do not want their names to be held that is among those that carried it, even if later they will test negative.
Even though they don't review the identity of the carriers.
They don't, but is it
but-
not risky that, I mean, for instance, I fall sick of malaria and I go to the hospital and the doctor attending to me, you know, is the same doctor attending to one big man that has coronavirus. Are we not all at risk?
That is exactly what it means. But no big man will want to come up to say, I have this coronavirus when he has a private doctor. He will want to hide it. And you going to that private doctor wouldn't know that is the reason why the big man is in that hospital. You know, that is just the challenge we are going to have. Because by the time you see a big man, there are friends of the chief of staff that may have had contact
Visited
with
him,
and
the truth is that when he came back from Germany, he had held meetings.
Yes.
You know,
Meetings,
at the State House with several people, and in those meetings there were manifestations of coronavirus because he was already coughing.
Yes. So that is the problem. Who are those people? We do not want to know. If you said they do not disclose the identity of those people, how did we know about this 19-year-old girl in this case in River State? Remember, we are already talking with him. She's already complaining that her compound
neighbors,
people, her neighbors are already. How did they know? The way they took them out, people could understand that government came and picked this guy away because of this. They're beginning to mark from there. But a big man that have left his home, he has followers, especially these politicians. My guy has left. I don't know. I suspect, before you know, those will begin to, So I will not be surprised if big men are already treating themselves in a private
Some of
hospital.
them even treat themselves in their
I
homes.
think it's nothing wrong too. I mean, if you can get treatment in any private facility, why don't you get? The federal one is only saying let's approve you first.
But people need to know. I mean, people need to know that, I mean, this hospital has been converted into a treatment center for coronavirus.
I think it's quite easy for government to checkmate this.
How?
There should be proper licensing of private clinics in Nigeria. There should be numbers, and we have the NMA when it comes to Nigeria Medical Association. We know they have members and they know the numbers of their members in Nigeria. Even though we have fake doctors, there is a register where they know their members. If you are actually registered and you're a licensed medical practitioner in Nigeria, so with that you can actually checkmate this. You can actually know where they work.
The activities of NMA.
That's why we have the Ministry of Health and we have other parastatals. It's easy to check this. If government really wants to do the proper job, it's quite easy to get this for me.
I disagree. I disagree because
difficult.
I disagree.
What's the argument really?
No, the argument is that you have privileged people. These people that are well-to-do. I mean, we see them everywhere. They don't like going to hospitals. Their doctors go to the houses to see them. And when their cases become critical, when they now have to resort to the use of maybe respirators or ventilators, then they will take them to the hospital. Now, the doctor that is attending to a pregnant woman, or attending to someone that has high blood pressure, or attending to someone that has malaria, is also attending to a big man that has coronavirus and has refused to speak out. Is it not a dangerous trend?
It is, but that's why, if you notice, the federal government has consistently said, especially the Minister of Health, advising their colleague to apply the highest sense of protection for themselves. If I'm a medical doctor and you come manifesting, with the
Signs of
COVID-19, I'm already going to, of course, naturally protect myself to start with the protective equipment that is everywhere. Because I know I have my family to even protect. I have myself, I have other patients to protect. I think it depends on which doctor per se. It's not really as dangerous as we are making it look, because other people who treat COVID-19 patients also go home. They don't sleep there. They also go home. You understand? So, and there are measures, in which they protect themselves. So it's not really for me a big deal. I think the basic thing is that you have to even be open enough to say you have symptoms of this, so that the doctor himself knows that this is what he might be dealing with. Is when you don't disclose your symptoms, and then the doctor probably starts treating you for something else, and in the process contracts it, then that's the problem. But if you're able to say, look, this is what I think I have, the doctor will have to be more careful, in treating and managing you.
Okay, and now let's go to Friday. Friday was dramatic because a lot of things happened on Friday. But we'll take the first one where the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike threatened to declare a lockdown on the state should the people continue to disregard his directives on the closure of markets and other business places. Governor Wike issued the threat while briefing newsmen in Port Harcourt, where he also alleged that some individuals were not happy that Rivers State is free from coronavirus.
Minister, who was quoting law. Okay, Minister, I've heard a lot. Who are the wisdom? The minister listen. I don't listen. But it's not, you see, when a civilian government, when a democracy, when a military government, where you sit down somewhere in your own office and direct me. I'm not one of those governors that want to beg you, help me. Help me for what? The right thing must be done. We are talking about something that's killing people. Every day you hear new cases. Every day you hear new cases. They are not happy that Rivers State, they don't hear any cases. They are not happy. So they are only that. Why is Rivers State not to do something that Rivers State was having? Somebody brought in 22 people to Rivers State without telling us so that they will quarantine the tested. Now, who the people is tested? They say they have a permit to come to Rivers State. Oh. So even we have a coronavirus patient, then all the rest people will die. Me, I don't have 10 billion naira to make sure that I set us around the centers to 2 billion. I don't have it. All the centers are building testing kits and I don't give you Rivers State.
Okay, now that's just one, and that's the only one we're going to take. But the governor said a lot of things over the course of the week, and one of them is about the arrest of the ExxonMobil staff members. They've been released as at today.
Yes.
They've gone back to their families. The governor said a lot of prominent Nigerians prevailed, intervened in the matter. Now, Sandra, the governor made reference to the palliative committee headed by Desmond Akawo, and he also posed the question that who is the head of the presidential task force? It's Boss Mustafa, the secretary to the government of the federation, and he's a member of the APC. In fact, every member of that task force are members of APC. Why is everyone asking questions about Desmond Akawo being a member of PDP? Okay,
the thing is, we'll ask first, where did they keep their own palliative? Because Rivers State Palliative, according to my investigations, they have it here in their PDP secretariat here in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
Yeah, so the thing is, where did you keep it and who do you give it to? I have my facts if I can say for a fact.
But I was also at the food bank, and at the food bank is a warehouse domiciled inside the secretariat of the PDP. Now, you won't expect the state government to go and pay for a warehouse somewhere when they have a warehouse that is as big. This warehouse is very big.
Who has the warehouse?
I don't know who owns the warehouse, but the warehouse is a facility inside the secretariat. So it is not like it is inside PDP secretariat. The PDP secretariat is another building entirely. The warehouse is also in there, and there are also different structures. So, but why are people raising eyebrows that Ambassador Akawo is heading that committee?
Yeah, because they now see it as it being so political, because they give the food palliatives to their ward chairman instead of giving it to paramount rulers. I mean, before now he said there's a total lockdown, and if anybody should violate that or go against it, we are going to depose the traditional rulers. So why don't you give it to traditional rulers to share it instead of giving it to a party ward or unit chairman to share it? I mean, in some areas they share it to only people that are in their own party. So people are raising eyebrows because they feel this palliative is not supposed to be political. They are supposed to share to everybody. We are all suffering, and everybody, it has to be political. It has to be apolitical. If they want it to go around, I think they should give it to traditional rulers,
But in
because
fairness to them too, we can't say.
But
they are sharing
is it about where it
political
is
party
kept
members.
or about the people
I
that
think the
actually
people-
it is not.
beneficiaries?
It is not about where it is kept right now. It is
Okay.
about who benefits.
The
from
hell,
Yeah,
I think
so
that's what
it's
we should
about
be more
who benefits.
interested
I think
in.
that's what we should be
Yeah.
interested
Yeah.
in, and not
Interested
who
in
Yeah,
how
heads
not
the
the
about who
committee.
has-
It
yes.
can stay in government house for all I care.
Yes.
It can even be headed by the PDP national chairman for all I care.
Yes.
What matters is during the
Who are the
distribution, who are the
beneficiaries?
beneficiaries. That's basically for me. So
And-
it doesn't matter who heads the committee. It's so immaterial.
But I mean, this is politics. We know that in the end, politicians will always want to hijack whatever policies their party, introduces. Well, on Friday ended very badly with the announcement of the death of the chief of staff, late Abba Kyari. Priye, Abba Kyari was a special man because I don't think you ever heard him speak since he became chief of staff.
I didn't. No point in time. He doesn't talk to the media that.
He was a perfect gentleman.
A perfect gentleman, like more like he was more of the book kind of guy. The way you look at him, like document guy that always look into documents and all.
I didn't know he had that kind of CV. Until his death. It's such a pity. Chinedu, now today is Sunday. He was buried yesterday, according to the Islamic rites. Today is Sunday, and we are seeing a lot of editorials, articles, describing Abba Kyari as a perfect gentleman, as a Democrat, who meant well for Nigeria.
Very, very contradicting. Because before now we've all believed that this man is the cabal, quote and unquote, that we have. This talk about there is another cabal in the presidency. That has been the perception we had about Abba Kyari. We know he fell out at some point, or we were meant to believe that he fell out with the first lady. Those are just talks. And now he is dead. We are seeing a lot of stories and a lot of write-ups praising him, and unfortunately, he was never seen to be talking to the press, so he couldn't even defend himself at any point in time with all those things happening, all those stories flying. Unfortunately, he's late. He still cannot defend himself. But it's good we are seeing people coming out to say this man might not really be as bad as we thought he was. And look at his CV, like you said.
I think it was more of loyalty to his leader.
Okay. Okay, so I think we'll just leave it at that. This week is a new week. Tomorrow is Monday. Uchendu, we hear the DG of NCDC was in Rivers State earlier today, and he commended the Rivers State government for the firm decisions they have taken as far as COVID-19 in Rivers State is concerned. I know a lot of people will be talking about that this week. What are your expectations? What are we looking up to this week?
We should be. He has come to commend the Rivers State government. What we should be looking at is on what areas people should be looking at. He just declared some total shutdown in some area in Port Harcourt City local government. We are supposed to know whether they are sensing that there are some persons that have been.
I think it's more about violation of the order of restriction.
Okay.
Punishment per se.
And then there are complaints already that have beginning to emerge. There are some persons that called me today that they are actually they have gone. The security operative that are in charge of that climbing down on that order has already extended to other streets that were not mentioned by the governor. So I think these are the things we are expecting more complaints, because actually the governor said is a very big task to comply with those things, but we need to follow it up. We need to obey them just to keep ourselves safe.
Okay, on that note, we'll be calling it a wrap on this week's edition of the Big Stories on Today 95.1 FM. It was produced by Stella Sasongo of our news department. And I've been doing this with every member of the news team: Chinedu Iwona, Sandra Kenneth, Uchendu Ejioho, Priye Izogu, and Stella Sasongo herself. Do not forget to take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. Thanks for listening. I'm Victor Eziama.
When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
I am a proud Nigerian. I have been placed here by God for a time such as this.
At my back, I ain't coming back.
The degradation, challenges, and problems faced by Nigeria are the perfect backdrop for me to develop and utilize my God-given potential.
I will not complain. I will not criticize. Rather, I will use my skills, gifts, relationships,
and experience to find long-lasting and revolutionary solutions to the many challenges confronting Nigeria.
Nigeria will rise again.
Because I am here, I will leave this nation
a better place than I met it. I will work to make Nigeria a praise on the earth.
I will work to make Nigeria a praise on the earth. So help me God.
Let me tell you how I got this far.
This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Okay, good evening, and you are welcome to another edition of Trending Stories here on your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. I am Success David. And you know that this is that time where we get to talk about everything that trended, not just in the week, but recently trended here on your premium talk radio station. And we see how we can work around the stories and, you know, pin down something to it, or if there's something we can take out of it. So if you are just tuning in now, you are welcome, because the show is just right about to get started and you haven't missed out anything. So you can tell somebody to tell another person that Opinion Pool or Trending Stories is on here on your premium talk radio station. It is another time for us to discuss the issues that affect us as a nation, as a state, and even further into outside the spheres of our country, Nigeria. Okay, so in the last few months, that should be about 2 months ago, even though it has started off quite early around the world, Nigeria just started fighting its own COVID-19 cases, we should say. February, yes, that should be the second week of February thereabout. And since then, there has been number of cases, a number of news that has been popping up about this issue, which is ravaging the world at large. But then just recently, aside from other stories that have popped up concerning this COVID-19 case in pandemic in which the world has been facing, and Nigeria has had its own share of this pandemic, even as there is a rise in the number of cases and deaths in which Nigeria is recording. There is something that just that has been more significant when it comes to Nigeria, and that was the event that happened earlier Friday when the chief of staff to the president, Abakari, died. Now, it's funny because it's more like this has been this whole issue of the COVID-19 pandemic has been here in the country, but then so many people didn't take it as real. So many people didn't think it was real. So many people think it is still another political another political way in which the government or the federal government or people who are politicians want to use to gain money for themselves, and then other people think it is just a propagandistic. Now, but then since Nigeria has recorded the death of its chief of staff, there has been so many news to this, and why some people are just talking about it underneath. Some people have even come out to the open. And one of those people the SGF, which is the Secretary General to the federal government. And earlier in his statement, when he spoke on Abakari's death, he said something. Okay, I'm going to get that shortly. Okay, right. So, in Mustafa's statement concerning Abakari's death, this was what he said. He said the deceased officially was largely misunderstood by Nigerians as he served Nigeria till he died, even while in his hospital bed. A lot of people didn't understand Malam Abba, but I worked with him for 3 years and I can tell you that he is a wonderful person. He's a good man. Deep down in his heart, he always meant well, and I looked up to him as a senior brother in the course of the work that we did in the last 3 years, he said. And that wasn't all. He wasn't the only one that has reacted on Abakari's death. We also have, okay, this is from the Gombe government. Okay, the Gombe governor actually. He said, I pray our Almighty Allah to grant Mr. Kyari Aljana Ferdous and give his family and the nation the fortitude to bear the loss. In its reaction, okay, the late chief of staff was an excellent administrator who was committed to the overall development of the nation through dedicated and loyal service, not only to His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, but also to the Nigerian people. A letter to the federal government by the Sultan-led Islamic Council read. Okay, another one here from the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Mechi, says the deceased was a seasoned and remarkable administrator who took his job seriously and contributed immensely to the success of President Buhari as his chief of staff. Today, I join Nigerians, members of cabinet and staff of the presidency to mourn late Abakari and pray for the repose of his soul. I also pray that his wife, Mrs. Kulu Abakari, his family and loved ones find strength in this very trying time to bear this heavy loss, he said. Okay. Now, there are so many tribute and condolence messages concerning this Abakari's death, and then more decry or more popularization of the COVID-19 case. But here is the thing, right? Is it that if somebody as prominent as this has not died, people won't have come out to take or decry how serious this COVID-19 is? Because it seems like the death of Abakari is making this more popularized, and that's not the only thing I will be looking at tonight. Before now, Abakari has been more like an invisible figure when it comes to Nigerian politics, where some people don't even know who he is. When you talk about the chief of staff to the president, some people who doesn't know him in person, even though they know that his name was Abakari because he's late now. Some people don't know him in person. There hasn't been much of a time where he addressed the press or he gave any audience to the press or appeared in news or anything of sort. And some people might want to say that it's because of the personality that he had. He didn't have so much. He wasn't so much of the person who confronted stories, whatever stories, controversial stories that had to do with him. While I still feel that wasn't so much of a good position to take as a public figure, as a government figure. It was one of his ways in which he maintained his place as the chief of staff to the president. And so many people right now in his death have come to say that the reason why he chose to be that way was because of his loyalty to the government. Now, the question is, why is it that before now, so many people have kept quiet and we haven't heard so much about Abba Kyari until now that his death, and we have so many people, governors and political figures, some godfathers coming out to give tribute to him and to say how good he is and how good he was and how so much. And we have so many of his profile out there, and we can actually tell by how much people are talking about him that he was a good person, even though while he was alive we didn't see much of that. Now, if you ask me, I think it's so much of a paradox, because you can't actually say some of these things, and it's actually, a thing of a shame, because when he was still alive, some controversies do pop up about him. Since the time when he was appointed till now, some controversies come up about him and he doesn't come to confront it. And right now, some stories will still come up about him, good or bad, and he's still, or moving on, he will never ever be able to come back to confront it and say, okay, this is what happened and this is not what happened. So is it that Nigerians find peace or find happiness in praising the death? And really, does this pose a question of how much does an average Nigerian, how much is the importance of an average Nigerian when it comes to the Nigerian government? Because we've had so many cases of people dying of COVID-19, and people are still asking questions. They still want to know, okay, these people that are dying, who are these people? Maybe some people feel that, okay, so many people think that maybe if they are able to find out the extent to which these things they're saying about this COVID-19 is true, they can believe it. So they have been asking questions. These people that are dying, where are they buried? Can we see them? What is the proof that they are dying? Where are they being treated? And so many things like that. But nobody has come to say anything about it. Now, is it that an average Nigerian doesn't pose, the worth of an average Nigerian is not much compared to people that are, so to say, are VIPs, the very important personalities. And then we shouldn't forget that it was reported that Abba Kyari died in a private hospital. And then Minister of... Okay, 08109510951 is the number for you to call to be a part of the conversation. 08109510951 or 0817 0000951 0817 and the text message portal is 0701-9339-962 0701-9339-962. Hello, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Emeka. I'm calling from Nigeria.
Okay, go ahead, Emeka.
Okay, so, in tribute, people of nowadays, they don't normally say bad against that person. They always like to say good about the person so that they will feel as if they are praising the person. It's only Almighty God who dictates the bad and who can shut every person for whatever thing they did. That is my conclusion. Right.
Okay, so do you think that this tributes are just a show off and not really how this person, how Abba Kyari was in person?
Yes, it just like show up. We show up. We show up. They are not trying to tell us what are being there. They normally quarrel, even husband and wife normally quarrel. But what one is not there, you can see what is happening. They will always be praising the person. So no one will say that they don't have any issue or there is no bad edge inside them. They know, but they cannot speak it out as of when it's no more there.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Well, in other news, when it comes to River State, the governor earlier yesterday threatened that should be okay Friday through yesterday threatened that there will be a lockdown, total lockdown in River State because some people are refusing to take very important the lockdown. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Today 95.1 FM.
Bushi, right?
No, it's success.
Okay, success. My name is Olo Lucky, calling you from here.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I want to it's a very, very big loss that at this particular point in time, those person like Abagari in the APC family, immediate family, the wife and children. But within despite all these people coming to this that. You know, you must have your own where you have your own talent. Everybody must not talk good about you. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Everybody must not talk good about you. But especially this time now that it's no more. People are we know this.
Mm-hmm.
But as a family, want to ask both to the family, to the Mama Buhari who appoints him because we know what he can do and he will never betray his trust. So I don't even have much to say, but at this particular point in time to lose that Abakari is a very, very huge loss to Nigeria as a large, as a country, and then the family too, the wife and the children. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, when you say it's a huge loss to Nigeria, and I stand to question that because if somebody that his impact wasn't felt much when he was here, yes, he went about his duties as the chief of staff to the president. It was actually his duties that even made him contract the coronavirus in the first place when he went to Germany. But then, are we going to say there was much of an impact while he was still alive? Because I think if it was somebody that was that outspoken and then so many Nigerians felt his impact, then there won't be so much of these contradicting views or opinions to how much impact he made and if he really did exist as a Nigerian. But then the question I'm looking at is how come it is his death that somebody as him that is bringing about this much awareness of the COVID-19? Hello?
Good evening, my sister.
Good evening.
This is Jacob.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Just concerning Abakari death, what do you expect? People will praise him now that the man has gone. Because you see the Bible, say everyone is afraid of he that gives a gift. It's just the opposite also, that people will praise somebody that is not there in order to get other favors. Just to show to people that they love that person before, that the person is not bad. Although they so rest in peace.
Right.
That is the only thing. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. May he so rest in peace. So in other news, I was saying that the governor of Rivers State earlier over the weekend threatened that there will be a complete lockdown in Rivers State because of how much people are going against the stay home. Okay, let me take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
How old is Atakari? And what of those people that die in COVID-19? They are not talking about them.
Right.
They only talk about Abakari. How old is he? But we believe that there are young youths that are in this government. Started bringing Abakari. Like other people, is not important. It's only Abakari is important because it is chief of staff. Well, thank God for everything. You know their plan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, right. It's the same question that so many people are asking. The other people who have died from this COVID-19, are they not as important as Abakari? Are their death not as at that, is it so much of insignificant that the government could not say or bring to the notice of the public so people can see how serious this is? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my sister. How you doing now?
Fine, thank you. You're welcome to the show.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you too.
My name is India. I'm calling from Port Harcourt, Atromola.
Okay, go ahead, please.
My own contribution goes this way: that in my village, when a bad person dies in my village, that's where they used to place the bad person. If I'm telling the truth, when the bad person is there, when the person is alive, nobody will come out in the front and say this person is bad, this person is not bad. When the person is all armor again, people will come back from the back. Say, this man, when his man is alive, is a good person. Is it? I don't know, but I'm not saying the man that died is a bad person, but that's the way they used to place the bad person when the bad person died. Because sometimes they be fear. They come out in the public of the in front of the person to say this person is a bad person or this thing. When the person died, they use indirect way to mock the person. That's my own contribution. Thank you.
Okay. Well, your contribution was well. Okay, right. So on River State, just like I was saying, the governor has come out to say that he has threatened to declare a total lockdown on the state should the people continue to go against his directive on closure of markets and other business places. Now, Governor Wike issued the threat while briefing newsmen in Port Harcourt, where he also alleged that some individuals were not happy that River State is free from coronavirus. The question I just have to ask is there any other lockdown that can be worse that we are facing already? And why is it that, this lockdown, is it really to our good? Because the reasons why people are going against this directive is just like most people would say, the only way they can feed themselves or they can survive as a family is when they go out to their businesses and they can have money to buy something in return so they can be able to feed their family and eat. So if the government is threatening a total lockdown, meaning that you can't even come out of your house, not to talk of going about to do any business, how is it going to be for us as a people? Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening.
My name is Stella West. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, go ahead, Stella West.
I see that our carry death could have avoided that death.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, how is that?
The mission he went for is to discuss on the power, about power. We have the Minister of Power there. What is the Chief of Staff going to Germany to do when we have the Minister who is in charge of the military? You see, sometimes we don't know how to, put our priority, where it will suit us and suit the government and the masses also. So I when I heard that he's in Germany, I said, what about Babatunde? The man is capable. He has been handling that military. This is the second time coming. So he could have gone for that journey. Maybe God could have made him to avoid the corona. So this one he went. And he went there and contacted this Hitler. I think it would be a kind of food for thought. I'm not happy that he died though. But what I'm trying to expatiate is that sometimes we can avoid some certain danger. You understand? You know, because if you sit down for Asorok there, they manage his administrative work there.
Right.
You know, he's in charge of Asorok. That is his job. You are the chief of staff. The main job for chief of staff, you are in charge of Asorok. You know, people coming, people, anything administratively, you are the principal secretary to the president. That is the function of that. But he left it, went for Germany, and go there and contracted this virus. And, here we are now. So there is so rest in peace. But this can be a food for thought for our leaders who are so greedy. They want to grab everything. They want to do everything. You know, it's a pathetic story, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we are still here on your Premium Talk radio station, and we are discussing trending stories and issues that are facing us as Nigerians. And currently we are looking at the situation surrounding Abakari's death and how so much of a news it has made. And the big question tonight is, to what extent are Nigerians' life worth? Because so many things have come up since the death of Abakari and how it has made the news so much, having been connected to the COVID-19 cases. The question is it that so other people who have died of this COVID-19 are not so much as important, or theirs is very, very insignificant that people shouldn't know about it? Or is it that it couldn't make headlines enough for people to begin to believe that COVID-19 is real? Because the SGF, the Secretary General to the federal government, said in his statement while he wrote a tribute to Abakari that this should prove to Nigerians that COVID-19 is real and it is with us here. So is he trying to say that he wouldn't have said that if Abakari hadn't died? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Doctor.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Faith Anthony. I want to contribute on the topic on ground.
Okay, go ahead, Faith.
And at the same time, I have questions to ask.
Okay.
Truly, coronavirus is in Nigeria. And this man, I, to be sincere, I've never heard about his name before. If not for today, I heard that somebody like this actually died. So why? Where have you been? Not just why when he was alive. Why has his name not been mentioned?
Okay.
Why have you not been hearing the good things you're actually talking about him now? Then why is it now that he's late? Okay, that aside, Funke Akindele was arrested. She hosted a party. And now they said nobody's above the Lord. So why would they bury him now that they know that it's risky? And I heard that there were much persons at the funeral.
Yes.
So you see, so are they really letting the citizens of this country to know that there is anything like coronavirus now? I don't believe if there's anything like that now. Seriously, I used to believe it when it came out, but currently with all the situation in Grand, I don't think I can even buy that idea anymore. Because if you're not showing a good example as a leader, I wonder what you want every other person to do. Okay. And now we've been hearing stories like so amount of persons dead, so are sick. Which hospital? Where are they dying? Where are the bodies? Who are these people involved? Which family are they coming from? We're not even hearing anything like that. We're just hearing numbers of persons that have lost their life and increasing and the rest of it. Why is it not happening to people that we already know? Or is there any ghost these things are happening to?
Okay.
So if they would arrest Kinda Fidele for hosting a party, why wouldn't the federal government be arrested for having a funeral?
Okay, I don't think they were
there was much
arrested. They were
crowd
told to be isolated. They were told that all of those people who attended
okay.
that funeral should be isolated and they should stay away from Aso Rock. But then there has been other cases, there have been other issues of people decrying why they should have held that funeral and then had so many people attend that funeral. Even though they were wearing face masks and their hand gloves, but they did not maintain at least 1 meter distance, as the NCDC said. And so many people have said that that is against what they are preaching as a government.
Exactly what we're talking about. So why would they even? What example are they really showing now? Why would people believe that they are actually saying about this disease because of this virus because of their own good?
Okay, beats me, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And what is about this situation for this Nigeria Tire person? I swear, they should just help us now. They should help us. They are locking down everywhere. People are suffering. People are hungry. All in the name of virus, and they are not even helping issues. They should try now. They should try for a medical.
I'm sure they will.
This entire self. I wanted to talk about something that the thing just vanished from my head because the problem is too much. I swear, the problem is so too much.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Faith. Okay. That was another issue I was going to talk about, the issue of social distancing, and then the funeral of Abakari, where you had so many government officials, including the Gombe State Governor, the SGF, and so many other people, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, attended. And then the NCDC and the federal government has said that